Welcome to Super Movie Brothers. Let's start the show.
This is a podcast on the Podfix Network. You can check out more shows like it at podfixnetwork.com.
Welcome to Super Movie Brothers, episode 157. I'm your host, Super Movie Brother Dave.
And I'm your host, not Super Movie Brother Jason, but Dave's wife.
It's just Jay. We don't call him Jason.
Whatever.
That makes him sound respectable. At least,
Okay,
At least Jay, it sound like you're still talking to a child like he really is. So.
All right, should I do it over?
Nah, don't worry about it.
All right, well, I'm Lauren, Dave's wife.
And you're here because me and you watched movies this week and Jay didn't, and it's a lot easier to edit the episode when it's you on and not Jay. So.
Sounds right.
What have you been up to this week?
It's been 1 week since you looked at me. Cocked your head to the side and said I'm angry.
All right, so this is going to be completely different because normally we catch up with Jay and like all the fun stuff he does. He's a cool single guy, but me and you were together and married, so everything you did, I did too, and it wasn't a whole lot.
No.
In fact, all of our stuff is more of a sad, tragic tale of pipes breaking and having to have adjusters come in and yeah. That's a thing. We have a pipe that's leaking into the ground.
We have a big hole in our pipe apparently,
just a big old hole.
Not the water isn't going where it's supposed to go because it's going through this hole.
Right, and that's what I was sitting there and I was like, so the pipe's bigger, like it's a better pipe now, right? And it's like no, now it's just it doesn't work. You're gonna need a new one. And I was like, oh cool, what's the fix for that? You guys just like go down there. I'm picturing it like you get a blocked artery. You just go out in there with like a little tube thing. You inflate it, and you're like, boom, your pipe's fixed.
And I put some Band-Aids on it. Boom, you're good to go.
They're like, no, we're gonna tear up your carpet, rip up your walls, and then we're gonna take a giant circle saw that is gonna cut through the concrete underneath your living room floor, and then we're gonna replace that pipe, and then we're gonna put all that stuff back.
Right.
Okay.
Cool.
Cool. New carpets? Yeah. That was my favorite part. I was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, my wife hates these carpets. He goes, well, if you want us to destroy these carpets, they can be casualties. I was like, okay. They can be collateral damage. I can make that happen. I was like, thanks, Bo.
It may happen, yep.
Our guy was Bo, the plumber who came in.
You said that he had nice eyes?
The most gorgeous eyes. Like
I did not get a pleasure of meeting Bo. I only got a picture of Bo, but
you've met Kenny, right? Kenny Wellbank, my good friend.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So you've seen his eyes, beautiful blue eyes, right? You just stare right in them, lose yourself in them.
I'm sure they are. I guess I've never took notice of Kenny's eyes.
It's like looking.
No offense, Kenny, if you're listening.
He doesn't listen. It's like looking into a galaxy. Like you just.
Oh wow!
Lost.
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know that about Kenny.
Bo had the same eyes. I was
all
right, yeah. What's up, Bo?
Was he like tall, dark, and handsome too, or just the eyes?
My size, my shape.
Oh really? Yeah. He looked tall from his picture. I know.
It was a downward angle picture.
Yeah, you're right. I saw a head, neck, and some shoulders, and
he's a short, guy. Not like not round, stocky. I'd say stocky, long beard. So
you're right. Okay,
he was me, but plumber me. Like if I was a plumber and had beautiful eyes,
that's what you would look like. Okay,
I would look like Bo did. And then other than that, man, we went out. We saw some movies. Saw Child's Play, which we'll do a very brief review for. We saw Toy Story 4, which we'll do a longer review for. And other than that, we didn't really get into a whole lot. We did go through my finances last night, which
we did, yep.
Is anybody who has student loans or has ever had to do any type of refinancing of any type of loans or has applied for a mortgage or anything like that, it is the scariest thing in the entire world to have your financial information in front of you and seeing what type...
How bad we really have it right now.
How bad your debt is. It is, it's something because you pay it monthly and you're not always seeing the principal balance and stuff like that. It's something that you can quietly ignore most of your life. But when I'm like refinancing my student loans and it's like, I owe that much. My God.
And then bringing up your financial crap with your student loan, I found out that there's something on my report that shouldn't be there.
It shouldn't be there. So that starts a whole new thing. It's like, what the fuck? I never even heard of this company who's charging me a delinquency, which is ruining my credit score. And it's like, these are adult problems. When I was 17, I had to worry about where I was going to buy my next beer because I couldn't buy it legally.
Yeah, and what I was doing that night because I didn't want to be a loser staying at home.
What socks in my drawer weren't already crusted together from jizz? Like, those are the two problems I had when I was 17.
Yeah.
Now that I'm 32, I'm just like, every day I wake up and it's like, I'm walking on eggshells every day.
Yeah.
Like, what shit am I could possibly step in today? And adult life sucks. This is all stuff I can't talk about with Jay.
I know, and on top of all of that, we're trying to save money to go to Disney World.
I know.
Like, it's crazy.
Right. So it's like, guys coming in, destroying the house to put in a new pipe so that our pipes work properly. Because right now our kitchen sink doesn't drain practically at all. You have to just plunge the shit out of it.
Or just watch water slowly trickle down into the drain.
So that's the option, which they did tell us that, like, now if you don't do this, you're fucked. Like, there will come a day where that doesn't drain. It'll back up into the other drains, and then they will stop draining too. And it's like, well, shit.
Yeah.
So something that it's an expense that has to be.
It has to be done.
Right. And then last month we just paid out my car, which needed to be fixed. So.
Right. And a couple weeks ago we had to spend $450 on a new TV because our TV just went to shit.
Shit out.
Just stopped working. So it's been fun.
It's a fun summer. It's good stuff because none of this happened when we got our bonuses in the beginning of the year, or when we got our taxes back in March.
No, we took that money and put it towards our goddamn trip. Like, what were we thinking?
What were we thinking? We should always know there's a rainy day just over the horizon.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into what are you watching?
What are you watching?
What are we watching?
I think he's trying to watch some illegal channels.
Always watching.
No, go past this part. In fact, never play this again.
All right, Lauren, what did you get down to watching this week? Anything that you watched that I didn't? You're home on Mondays. All right, what'd you watch?
I watched Jessica Jones season 3.
Okay, we talked about that a little bit, how I'm not enjoying it, but I didn't watch the whole thing.
Right, you only watched bits and pieces of episodes, right?
Yeah, and from what I saw, I was like, you know what? It's done. And that's part of the news this week. Netflix and Marvel have confirmed, like, it's done.
Even though they've already said it was done.
Yeah, but now people are actually enjoying Jessica Jones season 3.
Because it was a whole lot better compared to, not as good as season 1, but I think having that bad guy, David Tennant. Yeah, having him Purple Man, right? Is that what they called them?
Yeah, he was the Purple Man.
Right.
Or who's he? Marty Cratchit Jr. in Harry Potter?
Yes. Yeah. But having that villain, I feel like he was one of the better villains of all these Marvel shows. But yeah, that first season of Jessica Jones is definitely my favorite of all the Marvel TV series that they've had. But yeah, season 3 was really, really good. Much better than season 2, which stunk like dog shit.
Well, I mean, we liked Punisher season 2 also. It wasn't as good as Punisher season 1, but it was still better than some of the other seasons that were out there. Yeah. But it's done. It's done. It's done. And I think that's part of the reason why, like, I'm just not vested in it, right? Like, I kept asking you, like, maybe all the Defenders will show up. Maybe they'll use this as a vehicle. Maybe the last episode will be a vehicle for wrapping it all up.
Yeah.
And no.
You had a whole, I think, maybe 3 minutes of Luke Cage, and he did absolutely nothing except
be gorgeous.
I mean, yeah, and he was like, he was in like this, but he was wearing this suit, which he looks good in suits, but it was like this mustard yellow suit.
It's the suit that he was wearing at the end of his season 2.
Yeah, I guess, but
he became the crime boss. Of Harlem.
Yeah, I guess
it
was an ugly colored suit, but I mean, guy looked good, but
Colonel Mustard.
He was a whole 3 minutes in Jessica Jones, but he was the one who kind of pushed her to do what she needed to do.
Shame. Missed opportunities. Other than that, me and you finished Letterkenny, finally.
We did.
It's really funny. I know.
Still have to just go back and watch the Valentine's Day episode.
That's it. Yeah. So what we did was we watched every season, but we skipped at the end of every season is a holiday episode that doesn't necessarily fit into the larger storyline, if you could say there's a larger storyline, but it doesn't fit into anything. I know I was watching one of the holiday ones, and Stuart, the skid, the
Right.
the drug addict, he has long hair, and then he gets it cut. When they do one of the holiday episodes, his hair is long again. So I was like, so
Right.
I don't even know when this takes place.
Right.
So,
Right.
But
yeah, Letterkenny is
hilarious.
probably my second favorite TV series ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Next to
Well, maybe.
No, you got
maybe
the
third.
You got The Office. You
Office
got Parks
is
and
number
Rec.
1. I think Parks and Rec is number 2.
You ready for this news?
What's that?
In 18 months, I know, but people are freaking out about it now.
2021. I know.
The Office is being taken off Netflix.
I know. Now I feel like I need to go back and rewatch it again because we're not getting the NBC app. We probably will, but
no, we're not.
No,
and people
not.
are losing their minds.
Oh my God, they're insane because it is I guess ever since they brought The Office to Netflix, it has boosted The Office fan base.
Ready for the statistic?
So
with all the stuff that is on Netflix, The Office accounts for 7% of their streaming.
Okay.
So 7%. That's a huge chunk when you have
Right.
literally thousands of options of things to watch. 7%
And The
of
Office
it
is one of those shows
is being
where,
streamed.
Yeah, it's being streamed, and a lot of people, they just put it on as background
It's
noise.
right.
Because everyone's
comfort
seen
food.
all the episodes and
Parkour!
yeah. And you sit back and, every once in a while you'll catch one of those episodes or one of those moments where you have to sit down and you have to watch it, like when Dwight decided to
Dwight's fire drill.
burn his fire drill.
Yeah,
It
has
was
to be seen.
amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
When that's on, it's like, oh, it's this one?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, exactly.
And Oscar goes to save the cat and he chucks it up into the ceiling.
No, it wasn't Oscar. Oscar put himself in the ceiling.
That's right.
It was what's her face, Angela, who's thrown her cats that she keeps in her bottom drawer up in the ceiling.
And then it crashes down on the other side.
So good.
So, but yeah, so that's leaving Netflix. So if you want to give it another spin, you got 18 months.
Yeah,
to
we
do
still
so.
have
You
some
got-
time.
you got a little bit of time. People are freaking out about it, but
They really are.
got time.
It's a big buzz on the internet right now.
I wonder if, like, to drive now, if NBC really wanted to drive their streaming app in the same way like CBS has done by making Star Trek Discovery they've made that a must-watch show.
Right.
For anyone who's a Star Trek fan, they've made that a must-watch show. If you want NBC to be successful, they either have to bring something on that's a must-watch, and there's nothing more that would be must-watch for people than an
the
Office reunion.
Right. And I mean, look
I'm not
at
saying
how
like a new season or anything, but like an
just
episode,
bring them-
an
yeah,
hour-long
just-
episode.
Yeah, kind of like how they finished Parks and Rec, even though they did it, on the season at the same time. They didn't do it years later. They did it at that same time. They just kind of made everyone a little bit older,
Right.
caught up where everyone
It was done. And they were
Right.
getting it over with. So
Right.
that's as far as what I watched this week. Now I was home on Friday, the most of the day, and I got to watch 2 movies. The first one I watched was The Oath. Now the Oath is this story about a country, it's our country, where the president is making people take an oath to be a loyal citizen and stuff
Oh,
like that,
boy.
and loyal to the president and loyal to the government and all this stuff. And there's the vast majority of people are for it, and this one couple, they are not. And it stars. I hate pronouncing this guy's last name. Ike Barinholtz. You would
I know him.
Yeah.
I know the name.
yeah.
What do I know?
So he was in Neighbors. He played
Oh,
Seth Rogen's
yes.
friend. Seth Rogen
Yes,
actually
yes.
gets a mention in this movie. It's pretty funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So people who all of a sudden they start finding out that people who don't sign the oath are disappearing.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, and there is like a government agency that will come around and start asking you questions. So it all centers around Thanksgiving. And the other one is Tiffany Haddish, who plays his wife.
Oh, okay.
So it all centers around Thanksgiving, and his whole family, they're being forced to avoid the oath. They don't want to talk about the oath. They can't talk about it because he gets so fired up about how
I
fucking
think I've
ridiculous it
heard
is
of
that
this
people are
before.
signing it.
I didn't realize
It's on Hulu.
If this is the movie I'm thinking of, then it's very heavy into politics.
Not really.
No.
No, just on the surface, it is.
Okay.
It's more of I would say a comedy thriller, a little bit.
I feel like I'm pretty sure I've heard of this. Just Never seek to watch it because I forget about movies.
It was an okay way to kill 2 hours, is what it came down to. It was nothing fantastic, but it was an okay way to kill 2 hours. I really thought they were going to get into like deep political issues and stuff like that. Not really. It's just more of him overreacting to everyone who and his family who is signing the oath and stuff like that. And I think what it is, it's kind of just being like an allegory for like how ridiculous both sides of it are. Because everyone in the house is on one side of the coin or on the other, with the exception of his wife, who's just kind of like, I just want to raise my kids. I just want to live in my house. I just want to be left the fuck alone. I really don't care about my government. Like, and then you have the other people who are like, of course we signed the oath. And you have him who's like, you're fucking mad if you signed the oath. So it's this
I feel like my thing is I would sign the oath, but that doesn't mean I'm going to.
As soon as people start disappearing, I'd be like, I'm signing that oath.
Yeah, I'll sign it. Yeah, I agree with all of this, but like that's just me.
They mentioned that people like in Louisiana were protesting the oath and stuff like that, get gunned down. And,
wow.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, well, yeah, I'm signing.
Right.
Yeah. So it was interesting. I'm not going to tell anyone to like rush out and see it. It is streaming exclusively on Hulu. So if you want to check it out, it's there for you. The other one I watched is another movie that was streaming exclusively on Hulu. It's Assassination Nation,
which is what I wanted to watch.
Yeah. So I really liked this movie.
Okay.
I see that it gets like mediocre scores and stuff, but I actually really enjoyed it. I found the subject material very topical. It is a stretch, but I still really, really enjoyed it. In fact, the aesthetic of it reminded me a lot of like Upgrade. We watched that with Logan Marshall Green, where it's very dark in tone and it's very dark cinematically, but then there's moments of like brightness, and all of the violence is hyper violence.
Okay.
Like, it's and it's good. And I think that like it takes I don't want to say like a realistic look, but it takes like a very hyperbolic look at teenagers and stuff like that.
And this is, you have to comply to something, or they hack you, or they are going to hack you and leak your.
That's what they really made the trailer seem like. I'll be honest.
Right.
It is not that. What it is it's a town. Some people have secrets, and what happens is there's one individual who is leaking everyone's secrets.
Okay, so they are leaking everyone's secrets.
Several people's secrets get leaked, and then somebody leaks everybody's shit.
Right.
And one of the main characters gets blamed for it.
Okay.
And it's basically an all-out witch hunt on her and her friends.
Okay.
And then they have to take back, their lives and their town and stuff like that.
Right.
And I liked it a lot. I know it. I think like I'm probably maybe overselling it. People will check it out and be like, it's okay. But I really liked it.
These leaks that's happening, is this like from Mean Girls or Burn book?
Sort of. Like your main character is sleeping with a married man and she's a high school student.
Oh, okay.
And she has a boyfriend. Her boyfriend is Bill Skarsgård of It. So he's not a nice guy in it,
Oh man,
he lays hands on her, at times. So I think it's definitely worth a look.
Anything
I really
with
enjoyed
the
it.
Skarsgård guys.
He's not in it that much. Don't get too excited.
Oh, damn it, because I love them. There's something with them.
You just love the wonky eye and the dead stare of Alexander Skarsgård.
Because he freaks me out, but it's
a good freak out.
Yeah.
And you didn't like True Blood. That's weird.
No, but that wasn't because of him. It was because of the chick with the wonky arms.
Okay, you're talking about Rogue?
Yeah, Rogue. Yeah, she and I never
Anna
noticed.
Paquin.
Yes, I never noticed she had wonky arms until that. Because I've only ever seen the first season of it, and that was like too much.
I got 2 seasons in.
Yeah, I got 1 season. I'm like, okay, I'm going. It was just way too much, and then her arms freaked me out watching them all.
Why does her arms freak you? What is it about her arms?
Go look at her arms again.
I don't know. You just have to describe it to me. I don't know. Like, does she
she's like double jointed or something.
Oh, I did hear this. I remember like sometimes she stands and like her
arms are just like really weird.
I literally watched that show for Lafayette, and that was about it. Like, I liked his character.
Yeah.
He cracked me up a lot. So anyway, that's it for what we've been watching this week. Let's get into our beers, and then we will get into our 5-minute-ish review for Child's Play, and then wrap it up with our Toy Story 4 review. Welcome back to the beer segment. Me and Lauren got 2 beers that we're going to be reviewing for you, but before you do that, we're going to drop a line to our sponsor, Blowfish. Blowfish is the only FDA-approved hangover cure. What it is, 2 tablets that you drop into 8 to 12 ounces of water, drink it down, and your hangover starts to feel better immediately. So, if you just found out all of your financial hardships in 1 week, and now you've decided that liquor is the absolute only thing that needs to be budgeted for so that you can get through the mass depression that sets in when you realize the mountains upon mountains of debt that you are in, then you want to reach for some Blowfish to cure those hangovers. Head over to forhangovers.com. Use the promo code SMBFish to get your 15% off. Super Movie Bros is also brought to you by the Podcoin app. The Podcoin app is a podcasting app that allows you to earn some points while listening to your favorite podcasts. You can then redeem those points for gift cards, or you could donate them to charity. Check out Super Movie Bros and all your favorite podcasts on the Podcoin app. Just head over to your iOS or Android store, download it, and start earning a little bit for all your hardcore podcast listening. All right, Lauren, you got a local brewery that you're
sure
drinking.
Do.
What beer are you drinking from Yards Brewing Company in Philadelphia?
So, I am drinking Pink, which is their sparkling tart berry ale.
They're all pink on the inside, Lauren.
I love it. It's a great summer beer. This is an ale brewed with cherry and raspberries. It smells delicious, and it's 5.5 alcohol. Alcohol by volume. Is that? Yeah. And I love it. It's very light. It's refreshing.
Ladies love it. A lot of ladies love the pink.
That's true.
A lot of ladies. I wish more ladies liked the pink, but you know.
That's disgusting. But that's what I'm drinking.
Yeah. Is it somewhat sour? Is it sour at all?
Yeah, I guess it's. And I thought at first that maybe it was a sour beer, but it is
like
described,
a goes. Yeah, it's not a goes, but yeah,
right. But no, it's described as a tart beer.
Okay, so yeah, it is. And
so a little.
Yeah, tart beers are getting
sour, but
tart beers are getting really popular. And like looking at it, like I would look at that and I would be like, that is probably a tart beer because
right.
Even though it is somewhat amber, there is like this red tint. Like it looks like someone had a mild nosebleed in your beer.
It is exactly what it's called. It's pink. It is a pink beer.
Well, I mean, not pink.
No, it's like, pink. We're in bad light. Trust me. It's pink.
Okay. But what do you give it score? Like out of 5?
Out of 5, 5 being the best?
5 being the best.
4.5.
4.5. Yeah, this beer you request me to pick up for you a lot. And then you're like, and if they don't have that, get me something summery.
I do, because I don't want to drink a stout when it's 90 degrees out.
Just give me an easy summer stipper.
As we're laying around in our pool.
Yeah.
When I say pool, I mean our 4 feet, 19 feet pool. 4 by 4
it's 4 feet deep, 18 feet long, 8 feet wide. So yeah, it'd be a nice sized pool if it was buried in the ground, but instead it's this inflatable ghetto pool that sits up and is all wonky and lopsided. So you know,
oh, it's lopsided because of you didn't listen to me. But
well, whatever. It's wet and it's cold, and that's what matters in the summer. And I am drinking the Southern Tier Brewing Company Lakeshore Fog. This is a hazy and juicy IPA. It's 6.5% alcohol by volume, and whoo! I like it. I like it a lot. And this, I actually bought an entire 15 case of Southern Tier.
You did.
Because I wanted this one. I bought like a 15 case last week because I was like, oh, well, I've been playing this video game.
It shocked me when I opened our fridge and I saw like a big box of beer just sitting in there.
Yeah. And I was like, all right, well, I really wanted the Lakeshore Fog because I was talking to Southern Tier on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, I sent a picture of me grilling with my Southern Tier can next to the grill when I was grilling salmon on Sunday.
Okay.
And they responded to it, and they responded with, have you tried the Lakeshore Fog? And I was like, no.
Tell me more.
I went to the store to specifically find it, and the beer store, the local beer store we normally go to, it was like $16.99 for a 6-pack of it. so I was like, let me go see what the local Giant has. What our
Right.
what our
Because I introduced you
Yeah.
to the wonderful beer selection at Giant
at
food
the
markets.
at the grocery store.
Yeah.
So I went in there and they didn't have the 6-pack of it, and I was like, boo. And then I'm walking, and I think it was like $17.99 or $18.99.
Mm-hmm.
There's the 15-pack, and this
So
15-pack
you
this
paid
week
$2 more for a 15
for a 15 pack
compared to what was it? 16 for 6?
$16.99.
Yeah, so it was a good deal.
Yeah. Absolutely. I priced this right the shit out of that, you know?
Yeah, you did.
It's closest without going over. If it was 20, I might have just went back for the 6-pack. But,
Right.
but no, I absolutely love it. I'm happy that I really sought this out. It is extremely juicy as they describe it. It has a wonderful citrus punch to it, and it finishes off really nice,
Is it
really
something
dry.
I would like?
Nah, absolutely not. This
Oh,
is
okay.
This is high IBUs. This is
Oh.
pretty hoppy. So no, I don't think that you would like it, but IPA fans will probably really enjoy it. I believe it's a seasonal for them, so it's going to be around for the summer. But
Right.
I love it. I would probably be giving it a 4.25 because it's not my favorite.
Okay.
It's not like, it's not 4.5 turd. It's 4.25. I would definitely put down 6 to 12 of these as an easy Sunday sipper, as Jay would say. All right.
Jay says that.
That's the only way he describes beers, really. It's like the verbiage he always uses. He's like, well, this is an easy Sunday sipper, and I was like, son of a bitch, stop saying
Huh.
it on a hot summer afternoon. This would go down real easy. Everything's a summer afternoon for him. But I guess
he does a lot on his summer afternoons.
well, I mean, I guess life is like that when you don't have to deal with the adult shit that we talked about in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, and I was going to say I don't know summer afternoons because I'm normally working on Saturday summer afternoons.
Yeah,
so.
when normal people are like, let's go to the beach, like on a spur of the moment, and you're
Because
like,
nothing
I
happens
gotta work.
on Sundays. They all do cool shit on Saturdays, and I'm like, I'm in the
Well, that's
house
because
working.
everyone who's our age is recovering from Saturday on
Right.
Sunday. All right, let's head over and let's start getting into this week's reviews. All right, before we get into our Toy Story 4 review, me and Lauren are going to do a 5-minute-ish review for Child's Play. Child's Play is the story of Andy and his mother. His mother steals him a Buddy toy and brings it home. Buddy is a toy that is super technologically advanced. He can control everything in your house with the tip of his finger. But this Buddy toy is different. He calls himself Chucky, and he has a little bit of a psychotic streak, and he proceeds to make Andy and his mother's life a living hell by killing everyone in their apartment building around them.
So, you said steal. Is it steal if she blackmails to get? Because she really blackmailed.
It's stealing. It's still stealing.
Is that
yeah.
stealing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still technically stealing.
All within the same boat.
Yeah, I would assume that like a Buddy toy, I would say in this universe is probably worth, let's just say roughly
I was gonna
$199.99.
Yeah, I was going to say 200 too. Yeah.
Yeah, $199.99. So it's not grand theft
Right.
or it's not larceny or anything, but she could probably
But
get a pretty decent misdemeanor
she
slapped on her for that.
Yeah, she knew.
Crime.
Or at least her boss knew she was taking it. But
Now the mother is played by Aubrey Plaza. Terribly, I gotta say. Like as soon as this movie started,
she obviously did it on purpose. At least that was the rumor.
That's the thing.
And if that's the case, that was fine too.
You never know with her.
I know.
You never know her level of sincerity when you're watching a movie with her. Because like watching this, I was like, she's like fucking around, right? Like I can't tell if she's taking this seriously or not, or like if they want her character to be that. But definitely, like in the beginning of the movie, I was like, all right, she's phoning this in.
She's playing
as
a
much as
mom, but I
possible.
feel like she's playing like a sarcastic older sister or maybe an aunt.
Well,
Like
she's a young mom.
Right, she is a
I
young
think, I think
mom.
she says that like at
She-
some point that even 15-year-olds can have kids or something like that.
I think she made a joke about having too much fun on prom or something like that. Like,
yeah, so she's definitely playing a young mom, but yeah, she wasn't great in this role. And I'll be honest, there's nothing that is really great about this movie.
No.
However, I still did enjoy it. Like there was moments where I was like, ha, like,
right. And that was mostly the killing scenes.
Yeah, like Chucky stuff where like it's one of those movies where I'm like, I know exactly what's going to happen.
Right.
Like the kid walks away and I was like, oh man, Chucky's going to do this. And then I hear the cat like, like, ah.
Right.
Some of the stuff did like make me laugh, and hearing Mark Hamill's voice as Chucky in this cracked me up. There was like that moment where he's like, what are you gonna name me? And he's like, Han Solo. He goes, Chucky it is. And he's like, no, Han Solo. And he's like, Chucky. And I was like, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. And they're like, come on, it's a Star Wars guy. That's why we're putting this gag in there.
Yeah, right.
You nerds get it. One of the things that like I realized they were doing in this is that first off, Andy is a little bit older. In the original one, Andy's like, I would say like a 7, 8, 9-year-old
right,
kid. Like,
right.
young,
He's about what, 12, 13?
I think he's a little bit older now. I would say like he's on the cusp of like going into high school. Maybe he's like 13,
so? Okay.
13 around there. Because that's definitely seems to be the age of like the kids he's hanging out with. And that's the thing. Andy and his mom aren't alone in this like they were in the original Child's Play.
Right.
He has a group of friends. And watching this, I was like, there's Stranger Things in this. Like that's just the way I put it. Stranger Things was a successful
but it was a
group of kids.
Friends that he met because of Chucky.
Right.
Right.
And then like, you had It 2 years ago, and it's like group of kids, 80s nostalgia stuff like that. So I was like, all right, they're trying that. They're trying their hands here. I gotta say, it wasn't bad. I liked it. I liked the other kids that were in it.
Yeah.
So I didn't dislike it. Who I really liked was Detective Mike.
Right.
I liked him a lot. So I was sad when he potentially dies. This is spoiler free. So, whatever. Watch the movie. I was sad when he potentially dies. But, I mean, this is a horror movie. So what it comes down to are how interesting are the kills? Like, how good are they?
I mean,
they're not fantastic.
They're not
right?
fantastic, right?
Like when Dad's head gets chopped by that mulcher, like, I mean, not Dad, Shane, the boyfriend,
right?
When his head gets chopped by a mulcher,
it was going to happen.
Yeah,
but I felt like they could have done something. They could have made it seem like it was going to be this, but really, maybe Chucky came down.
Oh no, they very much did like a like Final Destination type thing with that kill scene, because it's like, how's it gonna happen?
Right, because at one point he was kind of holding it with one hand, but Chucky is over here.
He gets his neck wrapped around in something, and but then
because he decided when he climbs the ladder. And to take down Christmas lights.
What's weird,
he's going to wrap the Christmas lights around his body, because everyone does that shit.
Everyone does that.
Stupid.
But one of the things that like I realized was like that was the only like really gory kill, right? Like that kill was gory. Everything else they shied away from. When he kills another person in a car, they don't actually show it.
Table saw. I mean, they don't show the table saw, but they showed a lot of blood.
They didn't show how that guy died. They just showed his legs getting cut off, and that's it.
Yeah, but it was obvious it was the table saw.
Right.
But yeah, they didn't show it.
But they didn't show
right.
that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So there's like, as the movie went on, it's like they started like shying away from the violence like a little bit, as they were. It was weird because I'm like, are they increasing the humor? Because they kind of were a little bit.
Yeah.
They were kind of increasing the humor as the movie went along. So I think that's why they're shying away from the violence a little bit.
But at this point, they should keep going with the violence, this is where it's at right now.
Yeah.
It's what you got going on for you.
I gotta say that like the last act that happens in the department store, I quite liked everything that went on there. I thought
I thought that was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, I don't think that the climax of all that was that great. I don't like where it ends. It's so obvious where it ends. Like,
right.
So obvious. But ultimately, it was enjoyable. I think it's not that bad. I
don't like that, and I know we both mentioned it. Why they changed Chucky's look? It's same outfit, obviously, but his face is just slightly altered.
Mongoloid, yeah.
And I guess maybe because it's more robotic than the original movie.
Yeah, possibly. I think
more AI-ish.
I think also they want to do something that would distinguish themselves from the Child's Play series, which is still very much ongoing. The original Child's Play series is still like Cult of Chucky just came out in 2018. I watched it on Netflix. It's absolutely ridiculous, absolutely hilarious. Not worth one bit of your time. But if you got edibles or a lot of alcohol and some good friends, give it a watch. But so that series is also ongoing. So I think they also want to like differentiate that this is not part of that series. It's also, the original toys were called Good Guy dolls.
Right.
Here they're called Buddies.
Buddies, right.
Right. Buddi. That's so they can get the cute little Wi-Fi symbol on the top.
Right.
Because instead of being a serial killer who is also a voodoo master, it is a
reprogram. He was programmed.
It is an AI.
Yeah,
right,
he
right.
was programmed
a disgruntled
to kill,
employee
or
created
to
him.
learn how to kill. And right.
Yeah, gave him zero conscience is what happens. He's
Right.
he's Pinocchio. If he never got taken from the island of Lost Boys, like if he never survived that, this is what Pinocchio would have been.
Right.
A murderous little psychopath.
Exactly.
But scores. B minus, C plus. I almost said B minus, and I was like, B.
That's not.
Yeah, like you can still get like high honors with a B. So now C plus.
I'm going with a D on this one.
All right. So yeah.
And I mean, I hate to shut it down that way, but it was a dumb movie.
Oh, it's definitely dumb. But Child's Play has always been dumb, so I'm not going to knock it for being dumb.
I guess you can't have a good horror movie with a Buddy doll or Chucky, but I don't know. It was dumb. They don't need to make these movies anymore.
Oh no, this is 100% a film that like I don't think anyone was. The Candyman remake, I see like people wanting that to be done, but like this,
it doesn't need to be done. And then you have a bunch of people who sucked at acting in it, like Aubrey Plaza. Even the little boy was kind of shitty in it.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get into the big review for this week. Let's get into Toy Story 4. All right, now Toy Story 4 is going to work a little bit different. We're not going to speak as cryptically about it as we did with Child's Play. We're going to do spoiler-free, all spoiler-free up front, just loose discussion on the film, the things we liked, things we didn't like, and then we will do a full-on spoiler session for it towards the end. So, Toy Story 4, man. Story of Toy Story.
Toy Story.
Story of Toy Story. It's the fourth one that they're doing. There's 4 of them.
It's all about toys, and this is their story.
This is the 4th story that they're telling about toys, and now so it's about Woody. All of them are about Woody, but this one specifically focuses on Woody more so than any of the other ones, because in this one, I barely saw any of the other characters at all. In fact, they're following Woody's new pals, all these new friends that he's making, more so they're following the other ones.
Right.
But Woody follows Bonnie to school. She makes a new friend, and Woody takes it upon himself to train this new friend about what it means to be a toy.
Right.
The friend we're talking about is Forky. You've all seen the trailers. You know what I'm talking about. Forky then is obsessed with trash and being trash because he was trash.
He was trash, and that's where he belongs.
Trash is warm. It's safe. It's cozy. I love it. So he throws himself out of a moving RV window, and Woody must get him back because he feels that's his duty to Bonnie. And along the way, he runs into a new group of friends along with an old friend, Bo Peep, who he hasn't seen in 9 years. So as far as like this goes, this story, first off, ever since I saw these previews starting, I liked the trailers that I saw. But I wasn't excited for this movie because in my mind, in my heart, Toy Story ended at 3. It was done at 3.
Right.
It was a perfect ending for it. Everybody got to go on living their lives as normal. But in true Pixar fashion, shit don't work that way. Things have to go bad at some point.
Exactly.
Pixar's famous for just killing parents and putting their characters in really tough real world situations with
they are
animation
there to make you feel like shit.
Absolutely.
And
at times
they want you crying out of the theaters.
And success. Toy Story 4 made me cry.
It did make me
once.
cry too.
Just once though. Toy Story 3
twice for
got me a few
but
times.
For some reason I can't remember the second time I cried.
So that's one of my big knocks on it. is like these new characters. I wasn't sold on them, but maybe it's because I don't love them as much as the old characters. Maybe it's because I'm wanting to spend more time with my old characters,
right?
And they're just not here. Gabby, who's the pseudo villain in this. I don't think they gave us enough with her. I mean, we obviously understand her motivations.
We know what she's about. And
she just wants to be loved. She just wants to be loved.
Right.
But we don't really get like those motivations of her until like towards the end and stuff.
Right.
And so I just didn't love her. But towards the end, I grew to really like her.
Right.
You know, good on them for that. Forky I found annoying as all shit.
Oh my God, I loved Forky.
Did you really?
I loved him.
It was about the 8th time he jumped into the there was like a 15-minute montage. It felt like in my mind of Forky trying to kill himself.
He wasn't trying to kill himself. He just wanted to go back in his trash can.
I
love Forky.
While sitting there watching it, I think like when it started out, I was like, you know, like it's funny.
Yeah,
this is funny. But it was by the time that like it was a 15-minute montage. Now they've gone from the bedroom to the RV, and Woody has done this like run and snatch him as many times as you can in that short amount of time that I was like, it's just fucking getting old. Let the son of a bitch die. Just let him go. He wants to be trash. He's trash. Bye. Now you're back in the limelight, Woody. What up? The irony that he once threw a toy out the window because it stole his limelight.
Right. And now he's chasing.
He's jumping out a window to save another toy.
He's chasing one, right?
Son of a bitch, Woody. So that stuff I wasn't crazy about Forky. I'm sorry. That's
okay.
I just wasn't.
I love Forky.
But there's just little touches throughout, like these little things that like come back in big ways, like when Bonnie takes the sheriff's pin off of Woody, who's a cowboy. She's a little girl, so of course she's going to favor the cowgirl.
Yeah.
So I mean that made sense, but you know Woody is being pushed to the side, and it's not where we really felt that this story would go.
Right.
And I think like when I think about the Toy Story movies, and I was talking to you about this on Sunday. When I think about the Toy Story movies, I see them as stages of growing.
Right.
Like the first one it's very naive. It's very childlike.
Grows with its audience. Right. Like that was the greatest part about how they did this.
It's kind of like how a child feels when a new baby enters their life, right?
Right.
Like Buzz enters Woody's life and he's jealous and he's upset with it.
Now you have to adapt to this change. That's
exactly. So it's all about changes, you know, when you're young. The second one is about realizing who you are,
right?
Because Woody finds out
where you came from and what you should be doing now.
It's a very adolescent story. It's Woody coming into his own and realizing who he is and what makes him special and stuff like that, as every kid is doing when they're in their teenage years. Then we get Toy Story 3, which is very much the entrance into adulthood.
Right.
Because obviously Andy's growing up, going off to college. He doesn't need his toys anymore. But Woody also is growing to accept his new role as a storage toy and stuff like that. And this is just another stage in his life until he gets to Bonnie. So it's almost like getting to Bonnie, that's the fantasy. Like getting a second chance almost feels like the fantasy. So for Toy Story 4 to go the way it does kind of feels right. Now this is the adult story. This is your midlife crisis, Woody.
This is where it needs to end, though.
This is where it needs to end.
No, because I feel like if it does come back, then that's our midlife crisis there.
But this is Woody is essentially retiring, and we can't get into it.
We can't get into it.
I'll finish this little dumbass diatribe that I'm doing towards the end. But I mean, ultimately, I thought the movie was really funny. I just think that as far as it went, like the running time, I really think they could have made this a little shorter.
Yeah. Because it was what, 2 hours?
Just 2 hours. Yeah, I think they could have made this a little shorter, made it a little bit more punchier. I don't want to rob it of any of its emotional moments. Right. But it definitely, I felt the length in this one.
How do you rank this among the other Toy Stories?
Toy Story 3, Toy Story 1, Toy Story 4, Toy Story 2.
Okay.
I still like 2 the least.
I think I like 2 the least too. So I think this one, but see, I like Toy Story 1 because I grew up with it. I don't know. I just felt like that was the one that
I saw
brings me back to my childhood.
3 was in 2010. I was in college. I was bawling my eyes out watching that movie.
And the first time I watched 3, I was just not into it as much. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention as much. I don't know. But
took my college girlfriend to see 3. She didn't cry. Should have dumped her then.
Yeah. But I didn't rewatch 3 until we had the DVDs at our house. Yes, not Blu-rays, DVDs. That was my fault. I messed up on that. Or no, I got Blu-rays.
You got Blu-rays.
That's right. Okay.
You did buy Blu-rays.
Anyway.
And Logan's been rewatching all of them all the time, constantly.
And
so we're very Toy Story'd up.
That's when I rewatched the third one, was when we finally had the Blu-rays at our house. And I don't remember crying the first time I watched it, but again, I don't think I was really paying attention to
Come
it.
on, Toy Story 3. When they're
or moving forward
when they're holding hands going into that fire.
That is when I cried. I bawled my eyes out. I'm like, nope, I'm not supposed to feel this because I said I didn't feel it before, but now I'm just thinking I didn't pay attention before.
So I mean, like in Toy Story 3, I cry when they go into when they're heading towards the fire, and then I get that gross lump in my throat where I start like laughing,
right?
Because like the claw when they say I get like that gross because I go from immediately crying to laughing, and I get that weird lump in your throat.
It's like I breathe again because I'm sitting there and I'm watching the third one, for the first time again a couple months ago, and I start crying. I'm like, I didn't know I was going to feel this way about this movie, and I start crying, and then you see the claw, and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my God. I knew like they were going to be saved, but just watching it all over again for the first time in a long time.
And like I cry again in the third one when Andy's giving up Woody. When he's like, he's my best friend, you need to take care of him and stuff like that.
Andy, just take him to college.
Take him to college with you.
It's fine. He can sit on a shelf.
The things Woody would see.
Yeah, right. Can you imagine the things he probably already seen?
It's true. At this point, Andy's 8, 17,
I mean, obviously,
18.
I'm not a 7. I've never been a 16, 17-year-old boy, but I heard you guys like to jerk off a lot.
Yeah. There's a good amount of pulling of the pud. Yeah.
And Andy is very clean for 17. He's very clean because
that just means he stuffs everything in the closet, and he still has a toy box to shove everything in.
That's
Don't forget.
True.
Most of us at 17 got rid of our toy boxes. What's wrong with you, Andy?
Yeah, right.
But anyway, back to Toy Story 4. So I mean, yeah. So it was a little long for me. I thought that it very much could have been shorter, but I think the relationship between Woody and Bo was done really well.
Yes.
In fact, Bo Peep's progression into what she is now, I thought was pretty fantastic.
I thought it was great. Yeah.
It reminded me of like a romantic comedy in a way where you get like those romantic comedies where they were a couple and then they separate and then they come back together when they're older and now they're like two different people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like she has grown so much, but it turns out she's kind of exactly what Woody needs at this time.
Right.
Like when I was watching the trailers, I thought very much
Bo Peep was the bad.
I thought she was going to be the
villain,
bad guy.
and I'm like, there's no
not
way.
villain. I thought that she was going to be a negative influence on Woody. I didn't realize that they were going to go the direction that they did.
Right.
And where it ends, I'm extremely pleased with. I loved
and
where
they
it
don't
went.
need to make another one.
No, they
Please don't make another one.
And then final thing is like the visuals. The visuals are just outstanding.
Yeah.
Like when you look at comparisons of like Sid laughing in Toy Story 1 and how janky that shit looks to how Toy Story 4 looks, it is absolutely
it's great.
astounding.
Yeah.
Like especially when they're showing like the carnival and stuff like that.
Yeah, that
looks like a real carnival.
What I liked was when they were in that antique shop and they showed the little girl with the red hair. I can't remember what her name was in it. Harmony, right. And I saw her the first time and I'm like, oh my God, it looked like an person, like not an animation. I thought they did that really well, but yeah I agree.
But yeah, so also like the antique store, did you notice that like it's an antique store, so during the day when the sunshine is shining through, you see all the dust particles. I was like, fuck, the attention to detail is so good.
Yeah, right.
So before we give a score and stuff like that, since this basically was a story of new characters, who was your favorite new character?
Oh boy, this is a little tough because I like the two stuffed animals that are attached by hand because they're funny and they're hilarious.
Ducky and Bunny.
Right. They're funny. But I also like the little police girl.
Plush Rush. Yeah, the Polly Pocket.
Right. I liked her because it was the Polly Pocket, and I used to love Polly Pockets.
I would even let you say Bo Peep's a new character here too, because she is somewhat new.
Yeah, I guess, because they showed her in a different light than what we've seen her. I don't know. That's hard because all the characters were great. Keanu Reeves played the Canadian stuntman character.
Duke Kaboom.
Ronaldo! You know what? I mean, I hate to say Keanu Reeves because it's Keanu Reeves and everyone loves Keanu Reeves.
But dude, the world's been sucking his dick for months now.
Watching him, I don't know if you've seen him do the voiceover, and he's really animated. Like I'm moving my arms right now, and he's like going like this and this and this.
Yeah.
Like
I love that when he's getting into it, man. He's getting into being Duke Kaboom.
He was cracking me up watching him.
Duke Kaboom is my favorite character. Yeah, I liked him in this.
I think I want to say it's him too. Only, obviously Keanu Reeves. Love Keanu Reeves, but knowing how he got into the character, watching him do the voiceover was really funny. And then, I guess just him leading up to that second jump. Was it the second jump where he's like
where he has to jump in the carnival from one end to the other? Right. Yeah, and he takes it, and he's like, "No eyes, this is for you, Ronaldo."
Yeah, that's right. He put the blindfold on him, and he's
standing up on his bike.
Yeah, and everyone's like, "What? No! This is serious, dude. Don't do this right now."
It's good stuff. Yeah. All right. So your score, Lauren. What are you going to give Toy Story 4?
I'm going to give it a B+.
Wow, you're so harsh. I'm giving it an A-.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm giving it an A-. I still really enjoyed myself with it. There was just, I think it was a little bit too long. Some of the jokes with Ducky and Bunny didn't land with me.
I'll tell you in the spoilers why I couldn't give it an A.
And I think this being the last time around, while I'm getting because Pixar said this is the last time around. However, they said that for the third one.
Right.
But feeling that this is the last one,
it's gotta be the last.
I wish that I was getting a better send off for the other characters that I loved, because I like Woody a lot and I like Tom Hanks in the role and stuff like that. But I wish I was getting more of a proper send off for the other ones as well. Right. Even though I know they're pretty much going to stay in the same place.
Right.
It just felt like they deserved a little bit more than they got.
They were in all the other movies.
Those are little things that keep it down. But A-. All right, let's get into our spoilers. Big time spoilers. Like, these were all minor spoilers. That we did. Big time spoilers. That we're gonna spoil the shit out of everything.
Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning. Spoiler warning.
All right, big time spoilers.
So my first thing, the reason why I couldn't give it a higher score than a B+. So the third one, it ends with Bonnie getting the new toys, specifically Woody, who Andy gave to her. Andy, who's had this fucking toy since his childhood.
My cowboy!
This
and he's
toy
like,
meant
what?
so much to him that he was sacrificing a piece of himself that he was willing to let go because this little girl was in love with Woody. And then what the fuck does that bitch do? She throws him in the goddamn closet.
Yeah, it's probably about a year later, and
I get that she would, go towards Jessie more than Woody. I get it. Jessie's a girl. Bonnie's a girl. But to just take Woody after this man sacrificed a piece of himself for you to make you happy, you're like, shit's old.
To get back to my algorithm that I was making about this being his midlife crisis, and this is his retirement. Woody is he's been middle management his entire life, right? Right. He managed Andy's Room's toys, and throughout this entire movie, there's a new manager there, and he's trying to outdo her, right? She was one of Bonnie's toys in the last one, but he's trying to outdo her. He's trying to say what he knows is what best and stuff like that, and he's kind of being told, that's how it worked before. This is a new corporation.
Right.
And I think throughout his journey in this movie, with everything he had to do going through Forky, with finding Bo Peep and discovering that there's more out there for toys. I mean, let's face it. How much more of a retirement is this? Him and Bo Peep are going to travel the country.
Right.
And in their mind, see the world.
Yeah.
That's like retirement. Like, I'm going to retire, buy an RV, and we're going to drive around the United States.
Exactly.
Like that's what him and Bo Peep are doing.
Exactly.
And they got their kids, Bunny and Ducky, and then they have McGiggles, I think was her name. Officer McGiggles.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And they have Officer those are their kids. So
Right.
And they got their skunk mobile, and they're just going to go around, and they're just going to see the fucking world, man. And I kind of like that. And they also like kind of start their own like little business where they're
Right.
like, you want to find a family? You want to find a kid?
We'll make that happen.
We'll make that happen. You're gonna be loved. You're gonna love it. And that's
Right.
That was the thing. Like, I think like through his journey with Forky, you know, Woody got to look and see, like, I was very lucky to have Andy, and the other toys, and everyone else is really lucky to have Bonnie. But
Bonnie loves you. Like,
Yeah.
you're the one who makes
Right.
Bonnie happy,
But-
and she needs you to lean on.
But Bonnie's done with me, but
Right.
that doesn't mean that I can't find, you know, someone for Gabby. Like, I almost cried at that point when that little girl is crying and lost,
That
and he
part
pushes Gabby to him.
That was the first part that I couldn't remember when I cried at, but that was the part where I cried the first time.
And I couldn't get specific into this negative because it would have been a spoiler.
Right.
A negative for me was Buzz Lightyear's a fucking idiot in this one now.
Buzz was barely in it, which kind of
He was in it a good bit, more so than the rest of them. You know, he gets that speech from Woody about like his inner voice, his conscience, and he's like, "Oh, my buttons," and
Yeah.
like this whole time, and I was like, "You know, you're a toy. Just knock it off."
Right.
3 movies now. We know you're a toy. You know it.
Maybe he's still a little messed up from when his from the third one where they rewired him.
I really got mad that Spanish Buzz did not come out once in
Yeah.
this. I was like, come
Yeah.
on, they left it like that was something that was going to always be there now. Like,
And Jesse and Buzz didn't really have any
didn't seem like a
chemistry.
couple this time, did they?
Yeah.
Although they are the new like heads of Bonnie. It seemed like they were the new management
Right.
for Bonnie.
Right.
But man, yeah, like Buzz was a moron again. Like, I was like, didn't we spend like? I get it's not Buzz's story, but like, haven't we spent 3 movies like with Buzz coming back down to earth a little bit?
Right.
And now like in this one, I think it's because they needed something funny. They needed something
And
for him to do, and they wrote that in.
Good. Yeah, he's good for a laugh.
He's good for that, and they wrote that in. He does get that really big emotional moment at the end when Woody's
Right.
saying goodbye to everybody, and
Right.
Woody gets it too. And man, that's something that like both Tim Allen and Tim Allen did his readings, did his voice work before Tom Hanks.
Okay.
And he like messaged Tom Hanks, and he's just like, you know, get the tissues, Sally up, man. 'Cause and apparently Tom Hanks was so emotional reading those final lines that he would not face the sound production team. He would not face the voice director or anything like that. He actually turned his microphone around and turned his back to them so he could give the most honest performance he could.
Oh, wow,
without
okay.
seeing their facial reactions. And plus, he probably didn't want them to see him crying.
Right.
Because I was crying, for sure.
And then when I was showing you that video of when he was going to the premiere of Toy Story 4, and
he's hugging Woody.
Yeah, they've had, the Woody character out, and they're like hugging, and he's like cleaning off and polishing his badge. I wanted to cry all over again because I'm like, oh my God, this is you. Like you brought this, someone drew this character and put the animation in them, but you're the one who put the voice to this character. You put all the emotion in this character.
Yeah, and I think it's a fitting send-off for Woody, but for me, calling it Toy Story 4, it doesn't feel like a Toy Story movie to me.
No.
It feels like a very Woody movie, and it's my goodbye to Woody, and that's fine, and I get that this story needed to be told. However, like, it doesn't feel final to me because I know the rest of them are going on. So,
Right.
And I've loved the other characters just as much as I loved Woody. I was never a big Woody fan. I always liked Buzz a little bit more.
Okay.
You know? Buzz is like the action guy. He just does, right?
Yeah.
And Woody is the guy with a plan. And
He kind of has to stick up his butt every once in a while.
But I've never been the guy with a plan. I've always been the guy that just does it.
Right.
Just, that sounds like a good idea. I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to overthink it. Woody overthinks it. I mean, think about how much in the beginning he spends agonizing about getting back to Bonnie. And, it's towards the end when he just finally just fucking does it. And he goes to infinity and beyond, which is like a line that him and Buzz share
right.
at the end that like, I was like, oh God.
Yeah, that whole scene when he's just saying, when, they're running from the top of the building to the RV tent, on the RV tent, and you're like, Oh God, he's going to turn back. He's not going with his friends.
Could you imagine how much funnier the plush rush would have been if we didn't see it in the trailers?
I think it would have been a lot funnier.
It would have been so good. Yeah. However, the mid-credit scene of both of them with giant sparkle laser eyes.
Right. That was hilarious.
Yeah. And then it flashes to them just reenacting it.
Like,
boom, boom, boom.
Do you really have laser eyes?
Now, the best villains in this, and one of the things that I found most effective was the zombies.
Right.
Because the dummies were zombies.
Right.
Like that first moment that like Woody has to run from them and they're just kind of limped armed and like running and they have their gaped mouths and their dead eyes.
I think how you said the plushies would have been more effective. I feel like they would have been more effective if they weren't shown in the trailer, because I remember seeing them in the trailer and you're like, holy crap, that's so scary. But then seeing it here, even though it's still like good and it's creepy, it's not. I didn't get that like feeling again.
Yeah, and I think like it's just these little things that keep it down. Where like when I go back and I watch Toy Story 3 with Logan, because I watch it like twice a weekend at this point, it still fires on all cylinders. There's really not many negatives in there at all.
Right.
And this one has a few negatives here and there. I think ultimately they accomplished the story that they wanted to tell. And I think they did it in a beautiful way. It's still Pixar. They pretty much do everything in a beautiful way.
Right.
But when I compare it to other Pixar films that have come out recently, like Inside Out, which was a massive tearjerker, but also completely hilarious and a beautifully built world, and it doesn't hold a candle to that.
I think
it doesn't
Toy
hold a candle
Story
to Coco.
4 is the movie that maybe we wanted it, but we didn't need it.
No, exactly.
And we could have all been happy at number 3.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you think about where number 3 almost went, like number 3, first off, was almost not made by Pixar. What went on was Pixar's 5-picture deal with Disney was up, and Michael Eisner was like, he was the CEO of Disney at the time, was like, yeah, we don't need Pixar. We're going to start this other animation studio that's going to take the 5 existing Pixar properties that we have, and we're going to make sequels to them. And they will be our Pixar. Pixar can go off with with Steve Jobs and John Lasseter and do their shit.
Right.
And they were in production for a Toy Story 3. Now, the Toy Story 3 that they had in mind was that Buzz was going to get recalled because of something dangerous about Buzz Lightyear toys. They were all going to get shipped back to Japan, and in Japan, he was going to realize that he was going to be destroyed. And he meets a whole slew of new toys. Like, one of them was a plushie that's also a Swiss Army knife, clearly not safe for kids. Another one was like one of those flyers that we see in this one. It's a flyer toy.
Oh, the wings.
Sky Dancers.
Sky
Dancer,
yes.
But she's like a robotic type one like him, and she was apparently dangerous. And then the other one was almost like a Buzz Lightyear toy, where he's actually another Star Command toy who's recalled. He was going to be like the bad guy.
So
he's a big robot.
We were going to follow Buzz.
We were going to follow Buzz, but the rest of the toys were going to mail themselves to Japan to rescue Buzz.
Okay.
And there was also plushy bears with scratch and stiff stickers on them that made them smell. So hence, when you actually get to the real Toy Story 3 that Pixar wound up making after Bob Iger took back over Disney and went over to Pixar and was just like, here is a $7 billion deal. We own you now. Is that cool? Cool. And Steve Jobs, you can stay on the Disney board. Cool. Make us Toy Story 3, please, because what we got sounds fucking absolutely ridiculous.
Right.
So that's the Toy Story 3 that almost was. And if that was the Toy Story 3 we got, I would have been like, yes to Toy Story 4.
Yeah.
Please redeem that shit.
Can we? Yeah, exactly.
Redeem that shit. But instead, we got this Toy Story 4, which isn't as good as Toy Story 3, not as good as Toy Story 1, and slightly better than Toy Story 2.
Slightly better than 2, yeah.
So, what did you guys think of Toy Story 4? I know it's a solid film, and especially in a year where it feels like we're in a drought for good films, it's very nice that this came out right now, because it's...
we're all Disney in this house.
Yeah, so...
Next is Lion King coming up.
July 19th, and I will not...
Well, I guess technically we have a Spider-Man coming up, and then... But I know that's not like Disney.
But like,
Disney.
I'm so not excited for Spider-Man
Nah.
at all. I don't know what it is. Far From Home, I'm just like,
But it's a movie we get to watch.
yeah, and I'm not expecting great things from it, but I am expecting to enjoy it a lot. But I'm not expecting great things from it. I'm not liking what I'm seeing in the
Right
trailers.
now.
I don't know where
I'm
this.
seeing too much. That's
I don't think
the
I'm
problem.
even. I think I just need to see it, to see how they tie all these elements together, because we got Spider-Man fighting Hydra Man, fighting Sandman, fighting, giant fighting Hydra Man, but then we also have Mysterio with him, who's supposed to be a good guy. It seems like there is a lot of plates spinning, and I just need to see how they
Right.
get this all to work. But yeah, other than that, it's been a big drought. Me and Jay talked about it last week, about like the kind of drought. So Toy Story is this nice break from that drought. It's almost like, when California gets like 2 days of rain, they rejoice, but then realize they're still
Right.
30 years out of
Right.
before filling up all their reserves. So please reach out to us on Twitter. Let us know what you think of Toy Story 4. You can hit us up on Twitter at SuperMoviePod. You can check out Jay on Instagram. He does all the beer reviews at Super Movie Bros Beer. I'm also on Instagram under the movie Cocktail. And then Lauren's on Facebook. So if you go on to Super Movie Bros Facebook.
I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but you don't have to look for me. It's fine.
Super Movie Bros Podcast on Facebook. You'll probably find Lauren there, but you also find Jay, who runs the Facebook over there. Please check out our sponsor, Blowfish, at forhangovers.com. If you would like to cure your hangovers, remember to use the promo code SMBFish at your checkout. We also run a Patreon, so head over to patreon.com/supermoviebros podcast on there, and you can check out all the free episodes. This month, me and Jay, our free episode that we put up for all of our patrons is the bad date stories. I put up a bad date story from when I was previously on Gravity Beard, which was a ton of fun, so people can enjoy that. But then I also have the bad date story, a new one that I share with everybody, and Jay has some reactions. So please head over to Patreon, support us over there, get yourself some free content from Super Movie Bros, and if you pledge more, you get a little bit extra. You can pick out some items from the loot chest, or you can also get additional ways that you can be involved with the show and control the show. So I want to thank all of you guys for listening. Have a great night, and cheers.